Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the continuation of the previous coding session for the clone of Scribble.io, aka the, Scaddr project that I'm working on. Now, this video is more like a devlog, because in the last weeks I have already recorded many coding sessions about Scaddr actually, and worked a lot on the project and made a lot of progress. But now thinking about it, I actually think that it would be a much better form of updating you guys on what I've done by creating a devlog style video that's fully edited and rather than just uploading the streams themselves, where you can literally see me struggle and do all the brainstorming to the microphone and all of that lovely stuff. Perhaps I might actually upload some of the streams in the future, like coding sessions, but I think a devlog actually makes more sense. So yeah, okay, I think that's all I wanted to do for the introduction. Yeah, let's start with the vlog. Now, to set some grounds of where we left off last time, the application basically shows up with a simple form where you enter your username and a CSV formatted file from your computer. The CSV formatted file basically has to be filled with words that the backend then uses to, of course, store it into the Redis database, and then to use it as a reference when asking flashcard questions to the participants of the room, so that it can randomly fetch some words and ask the participants, okay, what's the correct translation of this? So that's how that's how it deals with CSV. It basically parses it and then stores into the Redis database. I guess simple enough, right? But meh, my dumbass basically forgot to use a CSV parser library and instead splitted the file contents by by commas, right? So the result was this, and yeah, that's how the development started. I simply changed the code a bit to include a working CSV library, and problem solved. You might be wondering, why does that happen? Well, because the CSVs usually use double quotes to escape commas and all, because they are comma separated, so they need to separate commas in the input. So that's why I just said it, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna use an actual library rather than developing the whole thing by myself. So yeah, 20 minutes thrown into the trash because of this simple problem. After fixing this useless bug, I realized that it would be easier if all endpoints were based off of sockets and not a mixture of express and sockets. Obviously, why would you have that? Why not have the full conversation in sockets and that's it? So I moved the create room code into a socket endpoint and created alongside it also a join room endpoint. They're pretty similar, so it wasn't that hard of a task. But here's where the problem started to get in the way. Whenever somebody joins or disconnects from a room, you obviously have to alert every other person about it and tell their browsers to update the participants list and so on. Implementing this when somebody joins a room is real easy. Doing it whenever somebody disconnects from a room, well, I have to think about that one, because there is no provided or obvious way to track socket objects. For example, assign that this socket object will have this specific data assigned to it, so that whenever it disconnects, you can fetch this data directly from the endpoint and track them and remove it from the database. At least I didn't find it on the web. The only information you are provided is the socket ID, but I didn't really want to restructure my Redis database to track the usernames off of socket IDs as well, because it seemed unnecessary. There had to be some other way, so I guess I kept searching and doing some research. And my dumbass finally realized a potential solution to the problem, and here you can see the clip. Oh, wait, it's actually pretty simple. It's actually super simple. Guys, this is so simple. I don't even need to use the sockets. I'm actually a genius. I'm actually an idiot, but this is the easiest way I figured out how I would solve this. okay, hear me out. We don't need the sockets. We can figure out the rooms and we can figure out the username. Why? Because here we have the possibility, I just realized, to save data up here. It just blinked randomly into my brain. I was like, okay, I can save data up here. Why the fuck am I not saving it? So, socket data. Socket data username will be the username, and the socket data room possibly will be the new room ID. On this connect, we simply get this data because, yeah, it will keep them all open. Now it makes sense. Oh my god. Okay, room ID. Finally, I understand how this works. I forgot how to speak again. Finally, I understand how all of this works. So, we need to broadcast, but before doing that, we actually have to remove it. Remove the user from the room. How do we do that? Well, I don't know. Here I would just have the room ID. So room ID. And here I would simply have the username, and that's it. Okay. That's cool. Next, I moved on implementing the UI for the join site and connecting the logic to the socket endpoints I wrote earlier. Lost a couple of hours there, and quite possibly also neurons because I suck at designing. But let's say I didn't give the join page much variance, if you could say that. In fact, it's structurally identical to the initial page, with some minor differences. This, you can see it's kinda useless because, I mean, why would you have it here if you can see it up there, right? But the point is that this will be removed in the future. It will be removed because, you know, if there's a streamer streaming, obviously, like in Scribble.io, you wouldn't want people to join if, like, by seeing the URL. So the URL of the room will be probably different to the one of the to the invite one that you use usually to invite people. After I finished tackling down this join room page, I started working on the user lobby. Now, this was also a hassle precisely because I had to connect the previously written socket code with the UI. The code I'm talking about are the little code snippets that send notifications to the current room. Notifications like, oh, a new user just joined, a new user just left, the game started, etc. The lobby UI has to take these notifications and update itself depending on what just happened. And you can see this working flawlessly in this example. A user creates a room and automatically becomes the room leader, and the new user joins and the participants list is updated on every participant's screen. But now you might ask, but what happens if the room leader leaves the room? Well, 3 beers of coding later, ladies and gentlemen, and bada bing bada boom, we got auto re-election, baby! Using my highly sophisticated algorithm running in 01 complexity time, as you can see here. Now for the coolest part of the whole process, finally, lads, implementing the logic for the actual gameplay. This one required me to create even more endpoints to make the gameplay communication possible. Then I just slapped in a nice and cheeky UI for the questions, and then code in the code for the backend that would pick a random question from the database and send it to the room expecting a goddamn, like, some sort of reply from the elected user, you know? The whole thing, I think, lasted like 2 days, 3 days. I expected a bit more because gameplay, you know, gotta be good. But to be fair, I mean, some things are still missing, but you know, you get the point. So, if I would have to explain to you how the gameplay functions work, like how the gameplay is handled on the backend, we would have to go inside of, God bless, we would have to go inside of gameplay functions, right? And here we would have the poke function, which does just that. It basically elects a user. Here, ignore this fucking to-do that, I mean, kind of garbage. We are currently just randomly picking one, the person that's going to be elected to be asked the question. I should implement in the future a sequential algorithm so that like everybody's, you know, being interrogated, but whatever, for now it's just random because stuff. So yeah, okay, we elect the user. We take all the cards from the this goddamn room. Then we pick the one that's we're going to ask, a bait one, a bait second, because we're going to be asking 3, but we're going to give the user 3 choices, you know. Then we shuffle them, and then we save it into the database as an answer. Then we save the question into the database, and then we send this motherfucker to the clients, like to the browsers. Why are we saving it as a question key and also as an answer key? Because if somebody joins the room when the question is being asked already, they have to get the question without the answer. If they're a viewer or something, you know, if they're a viewer and they have to get the question, the current question that's in place, the backend will have to fetch this specific key for them and send it to the client that just joined. So that's it. Then we have to go inside of where the fuck was it? Endpoints and God bless. Okay, we have a poke answer, which is an endpoint, a socket endpoint for clients to send an answer to the server potentially. And all it does basically just verifies, okay, basic verification that it's the correct password and the username, verification that it's the actual user being interrogated, the one that's sending the answer, and then verifying that it's the correct definition, the correct answer that they submitted. And then if it is, if it is not, send a response that it's wrong, and else just send that it's correct and that they are chats, and that's it. Then wait for 2 seconds and just poke a new question, baby. That's it. This shit is simple. Holy fuck. I don't know why it took me so long to code this. Holy fuck.